What's going on, folks? I was just I was watching an Ewok Unchained, I think it's Ewok Unchained, basically. So he's a Star Wars dude, and now as y'all know, I critiqued one of his videos. I came in the chat. They're also on StreamYard and everything else, but the thing is, I was listening to them talk with Caleb Maupin, and I saw this person in the chat. I was trying to have a genuine conversation. I could have just trolled him. I really wanted to try to get at the aspect of things. I wasn't, people just thought, oh, he's trolling. I was really trying to get an answer. And I saw this person, they call themselves Marxist, Leninist, Maoists. And they say third worldism is just cope, basically. I know that's not the words they say, but they're just angry Maoists, I think is what they mean. And I said to myself, okay, well, why do you call yourself a Maoist then? Because obviously, so I've heard, is that Maoism is not based on what Mao Zedong did. It's basically just based on his writings. I'm going to say is that we've read Combat Liberalism. I'm sure there are other things, but it's like, Maoism comes from Gonzalo and the Communist Party of Peru. And I know that there are other ones, but they basically, AKA the Shining Path, right? And I thought to myself, and then, of course, the argument became about decolonization. And she's like, well, or whoever that is, like, well, it's too complicated to explain. And the thing is, this is something that, people in business talk about all the time. If you can't write your idea on a napkin, then it's not worth it. Or if you can't explain your idea, and I think this comes from Einstein, but if you can't explain your idea to a 5-year-old and make them understand it, then it's not worth it. Now, you could take that for what it is, but that's how I feel. Which is why, ultimately, my ideology, at the end of the day, is the game doesn't change, it's just the players. It is just the players. And I think I used to call this channel, The Game Doesn't Change, It's Just the Players. It's either this channel or another one. I can't remember. It was one of those. I can't, I've only been on YouTube for about 6 years, and yet, so much has happened. But anyway, I feel like that's how I really feel. So you can have your opinions and talk about decolonization and talk about, we need to have true socialism, this and that. But then, of course, you have people like Caleb Maupin who are talking about entrepreneurial spirit and all that business, or just entrepreneurs in general. And it's like, okay, all right. But, the thing is that, if you want socialism, that means you're going to have unions. That means, it's going to be harder for people to want to become entrepreneurs. Dare I use this term, I'll probably be out of context here, but the barriers to entry are going to be a little bit higher. Of course, that's not me being an ANCAP. I'm just saying is that, taking entrepreneurship right now, that's how I see it anyway, But ultimately, like I say, the game doesn't change. It's just the players. What does that mean? Well, you can mean it to whatever you want to. But to me is you're not going to get rid of taxes. No matter what system you want to change over to, whether it's fascism or Natsoc or socialism, or Maoism, or whatever the case may be, protracted people's war, you're still going to have taxes. All right, let me just tell you that right now. Taxes are still going to exist no matter what. All right, that's not me being, me. I'm saying that's a reality. It doesn't matter how progressive they claim to be. Taxes are going to be paid. Number two, insurance is still going to exist. Number three is that, it's not going to be just free stuff all around. Is it, especially into socialism? Yeah, it's like, to each to his own ability, right? You know, so to me, that's the basic view I hold. Is that you can go ahead and LARP and talk about, you know, trying to have a pure white system or whatever the case may be, but it's still like it's just it's ridiculous, you know. That's how I feel, man. It's just like I feel like you know, we can LARP all day about various ideas, but you know, the system isn't going to change. Here's the thing, though. Okay, here's a reality on a different I'll just say demographics level. I'll try to be somewhat Weasley here, but you're not going to have some pure. You're not going to have pure white ethno state. That's not going to happen. But you're also not going to have a completely multicultural understanding society either. You know, because I mean, it didn't work that way in the Soviet Union. You know, that's a true history. I mean, people like Caleb Maupin obviously are biased, and they will call themselves socialists, and they're going to promote certain ideas, right? You know, I mean, when I saw this, I was like, you know, when they talk about decolonization with this other YouTuber apparently who makes videos, I didn't bother to click or try to find him. But the thing is that they said that, you know, what's going on in Israel, you know, anti-Zionism is a form of decolonization. It's like, what? And they were like, Israel and America or Israel and the U.S. are the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, Stalin closed the Nationalities Department in the early 1930s. Exactly. Like I say, this idea that we're all going to get along, I mean, ultimately what the Soviet Union became under Stalin, which is arguably, you know, what Nazgul became, is it became Russian. It just became another form of Russian nationalism. You had to learn Russian to move up in the system. Doesn't matter where, you know, if you were in Ukraine or if you were in the Baltics or wherever, you had to learn Russian to move up in the system. Otherwise, you reach that glass ceiling. So if you want to become a manager, or you want to become a director of some sort, you had to learn Russian. And that's a reality, you know. At least to me, that's why, you know, you had all this tension that happened in the late 80s. You know, what the fuck? Yeah, no, it's okay. I didn't miss that much. I'm just saying is that basically my ideology. I mean, you saw I was arguing with that person, Red Dundonian, in the chat, and I figure I would make a clarification just to make sure. And my ideology is the game doesn't change. It's just the players. That's my view. You know, you can talk all day about whichever ideology. As y'all know, I'll read different stuff. So I'll read a book by the Nation of Islam, and then I'll read something from Xi Jinping. You know, and I don't have a problem with that. You know, good ideas or information is information. And understanding and kind of seeing what the thought process is behind it, there's nothing wrong with that, at least in my view, you know. So that's why I call myself ultimately Nazgul right now, because I don't have a particular idea. And people, of course, you know, a lot of these super lefties, even people like, you know, Caleb Maupin, they'll say, "Oh, well, Nazgul never happened, this and that." And you know, maybe eventually, when things calm down a little bit, probably here in October or something. I mean, who knows? But I'll read a little bit of the National Bolshevist Manifesto from Karl Otto Pytel. But you know, to get a better idea of what National Bolshevism could mean, you know. But you know, yeah, when Xi Jinping is going to start teaching, start teaching kung fu to the anti-imperialist movements, it could be, yeah, who knows? It could be pretty soon. Yeah, they're going to teach him Eagle Claw or something like that. You know, Ying Chao. You know, Eagle Claw. You know, I'm not going to show it on camera. I'm not going to turn on my camera. But basically, you know, let me see if I can find a clip of Eagle Claw, and I'll go ahead and show you. Let me see if I can do that right quick. YouTube, right quick. I'll share the screen here in a minute, but let me check here. Eagle Claw Kung Fu. Here we go. This is kind of goofy, but I'll show y'all the clip. I don't know how picky they're gonna get. This is a good movie. I like this movie. This is one of the first kung fu movies I ever saw. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all. Yeah, everyone wants to do kung fu fighting, exactly. Mantis is good too. You know, the martial art. Yeah, Who is that guy, by the way? That is Izzat al-Duri. Izzat al-Duri was a general under Saddam Hussein. Ironically, he's one of the few folks. I mean, I don't know if he's got vitiligo or something like that, like Michael Jackson, but he was a general in Saddam Hussein's army. Has Xi Jinping armed or trained any insurgent movements? I can't really think of that many offhand. I want to say that he's just given supplies to the Philippines. And of course, that's Duterte's forces, not the Maoists. So yeah, I don't know. And that's also what I talk about too, is why do you call yourself a Maoist? And it's like, well, I don't like what Mao actually did in real life. Then you're not a Maoist then. Why do you call yourself that? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why do you call yourself a Maoist? But it's like, oh well, Mao betrayed the revolution. We just like his early stuff. I mean, it's like being like a douche hipster. It's like, oh, I like the early Green Day. I don't like when they did American Idiot. That's just such hipster type shit to me. Where it's just like, oh, I like when they did this, or oh, sorry. It's ridiculous to me. I'm gonna go ahead and show this clip though, right quick, just because I like this movie. This is this movie called I'm trying to think of the title now. I cannot think of the title offhand. Let me go ahead and get rid of this right quick here. Sorry, I'm bugging. Sorry, overlay. There we go. Boom. I'll go ahead and show y'all right quick. Peru's Maoist leader Gonzalo got training in China during the Cultural Revolution. Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and show y'all this clip. I don't know if they'll give me any trouble for this, but I'll go ahead and show y'all. This is 18 Deadly Strikes. That's it, yeah. 18 Deadly Strikes. I couldn't think the name of it for a minute. This is one of the first ones I saw. This has Stephen Dong-Wai. Stephen Dong-Wai was the kid in Enter the Dragon who got smacked, let me think. And he got smacked in the head. Don't think. Feel. Yeah. When pointing to the moon, yeah. Don't focus on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. That was the kid. He did that side kick. That was him. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this clip. This is one of the goofiest ones too, but I still like it though. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the first ones I saw too. This is back when they had Ground Zero back in like 03 or 02. That was back when RZA was putting out those movies on Ground Zero DVDs. I just love this goofy stuff though. Just right quick. I love what they do with that. Oh, is this the original? Is this the original Mandarin or Cantonese? Oh, okay. Because I always heard differently. Huh. Oh, it's dubbed in German. Okay. I was like, okay, it's dubbed in German. All right. I was like, I'm bugging. Because I only heard the English dub. Okay. Dubbed in German. Okay. Yeah, Germany was heavy into Kung Fu movies. I didn't even, that's something I need to look into, but I didn't realize how big Germany was heavy into Kung Fu movies. Continuing the tradition of anti-revisionist Marxist-Leninists, all the tradition of modern people's wars after Mao's death, not about worshiping Mao as an individual, it's about the tradition between, yeah. I love this bit though. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna indulge for a minute. Buddha's name be praised. Wang Wu Ti, you have, I can't remember what it is. It's gonna be your day. It's so funny because obviously the Germans are so serious. They just say it. The Anglos and whatnot. They'll try to put on an accent. Buddha's name be praised. And he uses low hand fist. Oh, sorry, not yet. Skip ahead. You gotta admire the dude's drip though, even though he's part of the Qing. Boom, boom. There's Stephen Dong-Wai. Stephen Dong-Wai learned Chinese opera at the other school that was training in opera in Hong Kong, because there's Yu Jin Yun School. That's where Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung came from. The other school was Madame Fan Guk Fa. That's where people like Chin Yit Sang came from, and people like Stephen Dong Wai came from as well. But yeah, anyways. It's a kung fu movie.
Dich nicht seiner Kraft stellen. Sei wie der Skorpion. Wehre dich wie die Ratte. Ja, das ist gut.
Tiger Lo Shan.
Shaolin Scorpion.
Shaolin Scorpion. He said Lo Han, Oh, he said Dragon or Tiger Lo Han, I think is what he okay, sorry. This is where you get to Spurging. I'm sorry. Boom. Nice drop kick. Shaolin Dragon Fist. More like a cockroach. Ha! More like a cockroach. You can tell I've watched these for too long when you start to try this out. And look at that. Look at that sweat. You can tell that it was just plain red before, but you can tell all that sweat. And now it's like a maroon color because that dude was sweating so much. Gotta respect these kung fu movies, even though it's more of a capitalist enterprise. You gotta respect the amount of work. Look at that. That's like a weed whacker. I was like, imagine that dude's probably on a rope and they're dragging him along, and he's got it's like, okay, keep going, keep going. Oh boy. Okay, sorry. All right. Although the future is a little bit frightening. Yeah, that's funny though. Yeah. Like I say, okay, just a little bit longer, and then we'll go ahead and go. You know what? I'll skip it a little bit forward here. I missed a bit where he does the whole. Yeah, I think I did. Hold on, let me see if I can get that bit. Well, I love where he does this, and it sounds like record scratches. I love that where he does it. Yeah. The tiger. Boom. Right into the splits. Boom. Yep. Oh boy. And that bad guy, I mean, for the good job that he really did in this is one of the only movies that he did. It's like he did maybe 4 or 5 movies, but he was great at this. I think this one was directed by Yin Cheng Yan, the brother of Yin Wonping. Y'all don't really care about this, do you? Yeah, the Virgin Kung Fu movie versus the Virgin TVC Chad Kung Fu movie. Yeah. The golden one said that Kung Fu movies were some of his early inspirations. Yeah. Boom. Kick. Yeah, this sounds like a record scratch when he does that. Or 18 fatal strikes. What did I say? I think I did say 18 fatal strikes. I'm sorry. Interesting side note, too, is that this guy right here, this guy, Stephen Dong Wai, he also choreographed the fighting for the Scooby-Doo movie, the first live-action Scooby-Doo movie in the United States. That was him. Now, here we go. I love this. Where we see him kind of building up his strength. He can't, yeah. We see him break that tree. He's gonna break that tree in half. We're gonna see him break that that twig in half, basically, yeah. He's gonna chase him. Whee! Right off the trampoline, because that's what they normally did. You just jumped in the trampoline so they could get that sort of shot. Breaks that tree, boom. I've watched this movie a few times. Sorry, y'all. Okay. All right. I won't indulge anymore. Sorry, yeah. You may not agree with what he did, but it seems police assassinated him as revenge. Yeah, well, all right. I'm curious how this stream got to this point. Basically, I was just waiting for everybody to get in, and I wanted to talk about kung fu movies. So there you go. Oh yeah. Also, there, someone was saying about, does Xi Jinping teach kung fu basically? And I said, oh, and they were talking about Eagle Claw, and I was just like, yeah, that's how it started. But let's go ahead and talk about, Michael Reinhold a little bit more. We talked about this morning, but let me be honest though. Is a lot of the Antifa groups are throwing him under the bus. A lot of folks are doing damage control already because of what he did. A lot of folks are throwing him under the bus, and they're basically saying, we're not responsible for everybody. So now that's the sort of mentality that you have going on, But yeah, Michael Reinhold is the guy who killed the Patriot Prayer member last Saturday from the Trump caravan. That's what Patriot Prayer, I mean, that's already enough LARP as it is. Like, let's go ahead and get our big trucks and go around, let's go through, a city that's been going through, Taekwondo is mandatory in Korea, I hear. Probably so. Hold on. I got a cat that wants to get out. Hold on. Give me a minute. Hold on. Calm down. Come on. Oh, come on, man. All right. Okay. Let me get back to it here. So, but yeah, that was kind of crazy. I just wanted to kind of make this a quick little thing, but yeah, basically I say, when I hear this type of thing about decolonization, and it's just like, if you describe, it's like, oh, the U.S. is the same as Israel. I'm like, huh? That's not true, though. That's not true. Was accused of shooting a Trump supporter in Portland. He says it was self-defense. Yeah, but there were other people around, though. So it wasn't self-defense. Because it wasn't just, he said him and a black friend of his that was near him, or POC. So, you know what? I'll go ahead and show the video one more time. We'll go ahead and do that right quick. That way you can hear in his own words before he was killed yesterday what he said. Yeah, Michael Forrest Reinhold. Video. Okay. Let me see if I can find the full video here. I'll just type in Vice News. I'll show the whole video again. That way we saw it this morning, but we'll see. Oh, did they take it down? Yo, they take it down? Hold on. Let me see if I can do some clever stuff, because I downloaded it. Let me see if I can do that. Oh wait, the Portland shooter. Yeah. They got the short clip. You know what? That's good enough. Let me see if they'll, as long as they show the short thing, we'll do that then. Hold on. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Let me go ahead and just do YouTube. Sorry. I know I haven't shown the screen yet. Oh, I am showing the screen. Sorry. I'm boomer. Okay. Cops should have probably taken him in alive. He had an AK-47. Yeah, he did have an AK-47. Yeah, so let's be careful about what we say there. Let me see if they're going to show the full video. Vice News. Did they take it down already? Because I feel like they did. Murderer. Okay. I'm trying to get some unbiased stuff here. Yeah, Vice. Yeah, Vice accidentally, interviews a shooter who murdered. Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Let me check right quick. Did they wipe the video? This is why you download stuff, folks. Holy shit. Did y'all wipe it? I feel like that's what they did. Hold on. Oh, okay, they do. Okay. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay, I want to make sure. Okay, this is the whole video. This is the whole video. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and show everybody. Yep. Having a gun isn't a death sentence, is it? Well, when you shoot at somebody, it's a whole different thing. Let's hear what he has to say, though. Let's hear what the man says.
It was a free-for-all, and the police were letting it happen. Had I not acted, I am confident that my friend and I'm sure I would have been killed because I wasn't.
My friend and I. That's not self-defense, is it? My friend and I? That doesn't sound like self-defense to me. Now let's go ahead and let's go ahead.
Stand there and let something happen.
A protester linked to Saturday's shooting in Portland.
Okay, we're gonna skip through this here. There's a whole lot of fake wall with them talking.
He hasn't been arrested or charged.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Understanding what's going on.
I had no choice.
We went through this morning, but we'll do it again.
I mean, I had a choice.
Bang, bang.
I could have sat there and watched them kill a friend of mine of color. But I wasn't going to do that.
Is that self-defense? Is that okay? Yeah. You said he had an AK-47. Is that a reason to assassinate him? Hold on. Let's hear some more from what he says. Let's hear what he says.
You know, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. My name is Michael Forrest Rynell, born and raised Portland, Oregon, 48 years old. You know, lots of lawyers suggest that I shouldn't even be saying anything, but I feel it's important that the world at least gets a little bit.
And once again, he's got the tattoo on his neck. We talked about this morning. Why do you want to advertise what you're about? Why would you do that? If you're friend and threatened, that isn't self-defense? Yeah, because guess what? You're not just defending yourself. Self-defense. You are in danger. That doesn't say about that other person. If that other person had shot, okay, it would have been self-defense. But guess what? He said him and a friend. That's not self-defense, is it? Can you explain that to me? How is that self-defense when he says him and a friend? Two people. That's not self-defense. That's not completely self-defense. So if I was a lawyer, I would find a way to be like, that doesn't sound like self-defense to me. Go ahead.
Of what's really going on, because there's been a lot of propaganda put out there. What I will say is that I felt that my life and other people around me's lives were in danger. And
my life and other people's. I know people. Apparently that's somehow self-defense. Let's go ahead and look. What's the definition of self-defense? We'll go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna go full on Vosh now. So let's go ahead and see self-defense. Let's see the self-defense definition. Okay, the defense of one's person or interest, especially through the physical force which is permitted. In certain cases, as an answer to a violent crime. That sounds kind of clear cut to me. One. Let me say that one more time. One person or interests. Right? Or at least, of course, that's self-defense. Or at least it could be. Okay, go ahead. Let's go ahead and hear some more from him.
I felt like I had no choice but to do what I did.
He had no other choice but to do what he did. Now, did he pull out a gun? Did Aaron Danielson pull out a gun? No. Apparently he got sprayed in the face with bear repellent, I believe. I'm just trying to make sure. I'm trying to be straightforward.
I wasn't even aware of what was going on. I was actually out with my son. We were driving through town and we happened to see hundreds of trucks with flags on them. And so I notified my friends of what I'd seen and finished what I was doing with my son, got home, and then received a phone call saying that it might be a good idea to come down there. Security may be needed.
Okay. Remember this point. Someone called him up and security may be needed. Let's continue from there, though.
not knowing what that would entail. I had no idea what I was going into. I used to really love this country, and I respected the flag and everything that it represented. But because of all this, every time I see a big truck, especially with the flag on it, I immediately think that they're out to get me.
They're immediately out to get him if someone has a big flag on the back. What does that sound like to you?
There were 600 vehicles. It felt like
Real citizens. They aren't real citizens in this guy's eyes. That's not very good. When he says real citizens, that doesn't really sit well with me, does it to you? So if you want to talk about, and then he even talks about, oh, well, Civil War, this and that, you're already there when you say not real citizens. So you're already setting things off. I don't even have to say anything about balkanization. You're already there, ready to go.
like the beginning of a war. It was a free-for-all, and the police were letting it happen.
I said this morning as well. Why is it that after he was shot, within seconds or possibly minutes, the cops were the first ones there? Explain that to me. Explain that, please.
Right after it happened, what did you panic?
It was. Yeah, it was. Part of that was cut
honestly,
out. Exactly.
You know, those are a bit of details I probably don't want to get into, other than just simply saying that, you know, I realized what had happened.
This is a guy who also said, I'm 100% Antifa. Okay? 100% Antifa. He says, if basically, if you aren't ready to throw down, I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say these exact words. If you want me to, I'll go ahead and look for what he said. But he said, I'm 100% Antifa. If you aren't willing to go through this, if you aren't willing to go through the struggles, thank you, but you can leave. All right? So this dude already made up his mind.
Confident that I did not hit any.
Part of that was cut out? Oh, okay.
And I made my exit.
You okay?
So what if he's 100% Antifa? So what? So that means that you can describe that as whatever way you want to. You can describe anti-fascism as whatever way you want to. That means that cops' families are at error as well, and everything else. You don't get, talk about splitting hairs. So what? None of the things he said negates the possibility that his life was threatened and he was forced to defend himself. There were other people around. Once again, let me read this off here. All right. The defense of one person or interest. One person or interest. One person. Not a group of people. This guy gets a phone call. Why does he say, but then it's going to come up here? But yeah, honestly, doesn't matter at this point. Yes, it does matter. It does matter because guess what? This is going to be used by other people. And the thing is, the fact that you bring up self-defense, this is something that the right wing always brings up, right? And now Antifa, you see these folks are being, and I know Antifa isn't one organization. I've heard that over and over. But now people are going to say, well, it was self-defense. It was self-defense. That's the same, you're trying to play both sides here, aren't you? That's my view anyway. That was something that right-wing folks used to say. I mean, that's what people are saying about Kyle Rittenhouse, right? So that doesn't make any sense to me how you're going to use self-defense for that. And did he shoot everybody? No, he shot that one guy. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
And just to reiterate, you feel that it was totally justified.
Totally justified. Had I not acted, I am confident that my friend and I'm sure I would have been killed because
My friend and I. Once again, according to the definition, and I don't know, the definition of self-defense is different in every state, I'm sure in every city. I'm sure. But according to this definition, other people, right? It's possible that it was self-defense. I haven't seen sufficient evidence. Well, why is it that you continue to defend this guy?
I wasn't going to stand there and let something happen. What they've done is they're trying to make it look like we're all terrorists, and they're trying to make me look like a murderer.
You did kill somebody. You killed somebody. Regardless of if it was self-defense or not. And then you ran away.
I've noticed that they keep saying that it's not clear that it's related to the protests. That's a lie. They know that it's related to the protests. Not to mention the fact that they say that they don't know who it was. That's a lie. Within an hour, Facebook and Twitter and all that have my face and name labeled as the shooter. They want to paint a picture of Antifa having major involvement. A lot of people don't understand what Antifa represents. And if you just look at the basic definition of it, it's just anti-fascist. And I am 100% anti-fascist.
Said it again. 100% anti-fascist. You could label fascism as whatever way you want it to, right? Once again, of course, people like Vosh will use Umberto Eco's points of fascism and say, yep, that's fascism right there.
I'm not a member of Antifa. I'm not a member of anything. Honestly, I hate to say it, but I see a civil war right around the corner. That shot felt like the beginning of a war.
We just heard from a man.
So there we go. Now, he said as well as that he's not part of an organization. I believe that's what he was saying towards the end. He wasn't part of an organization, this and that. And so he says, I'm not part of an organization. Then who the hell called you? Why, if you're not part of anything, why did some random person call you and you come up and you come running? I mean, that makes me ask questions, right? What's wrong with being anti-fascist? You can label fascism as whatever you want to, though. You can start to label the church as fascist, right? You could label the local church down the street as fascist. You can label whatever you wanted to be fascist. So I don't really get this whole type of thing. And the thing is, once again, though, Antifa are not helping anybody. Who are they helping? But these are speculations in the end. I don't know how important the separatist movements are. Problem is, it isn't. If it isn't fascism, yes, it isn't fascism most of the time. 98% of Antifa targets are right wingers. Yeah, it's just it's just these same type of boomers. Are they going around and what are they doing? They're doxing people, right? Now, if you want to say that, just because he was part of doing security for that protest doesn't mean he was part of an organization. Then why did they call him? Why did they call him? A lot of these Antifa guys don't want the discipline of being a real organization. Yeah, once again, I don't disagree with you, but why did they call him? Because he was caught with a gun 3 other times at protests. He was caught with a gun on 3 other occasions. What's a solid definition of fascism? You know what I'm going to say? I'm from France. We had Catalan, Basque, Breton, Alsatian, Alsatian province, Corsican separatism, He could have been part of the security squad for the protest. He said he's not part of anything, though. He said he's not part of anything. So why would they call him? Yeah, he chose to use it, though. Yeah. Are you anti-gun? No, I'm not anti-gun. But the thing is, once again, is that anti-fascists have been demonizing this guy. And they say, we're not with him. We're not with him. That's the bigger thing, isn't it? He had guns as a reason to demonize him. Yeah. I'm trying to explain to you that security guards for a protest, like an ad hoc thing that is put together by loosely organized people for that day and that protest only. How was he a security guard, though? Explain that to me. Did they tell him to shoot? That doesn't sound very smart to me, does it? Because I'm sure they tell people, hey, don't go around shooting people. This is something that even Vosh said. Is that people are walking around waiting to say, I wish a motherfucker would so that I can shoot him. So I don't really get this. I really don't get why you're trying to defend this dude. I don't get it. I'm not anti-gun. But the thing is, I'm anti-shooting somebody and then running away like a coward. That's what I'm anti. I'm anti-running away like a coward. If you killed somebody, why don't you fess up? And then what are you going to do? You're going to go out guns a-blazing because you feel like it. Is that a good thing that he ran away from the cops? Yes or no? Is it a good thing that he ran away from the cops? Because you can feel as you want to about cops and be Mr. Billy Badass and say ACAB and all this, but guess what? Was that a good thing that he ran away? Where do you think he's going to go? Because the police are corrupt? Yeah, maybe so, but guess what? You want to put your family's life at risk because you decide to do something stupid? And no, answer me that question. Do you want to put your family at risk? And that kid didn't even go on the run. Yeah, let me see here. He was killed in Lacey, Washington. Lacey, Washington. He did that shooting in Portland. So guess what? Guess what? He did run. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit. He did run. Lacey, let's go ahead and see right quick. Lacey, Washington. Portland, Oregon. Let's see the distance there. Hour and 51 minutes, 118 miles. That sounds like he ran to me. That sounds like he ran. Are you a bootlicker for the cops? You know what? No. But the thing is, if you're going to kill a cop, or if you're going to, kill somebody, why don't you be a man and turn yourself in? He didn't even go into hiding. He ran. The shooting happened in Portland. Went up to Lacey, Washington. How is that not running away? Can you explain that to me? How is that not running? Please tell me that. Please tell me how that's not running. This shows the difference between the left and the right. The right was quick to defend their shooter, and the left was quick to disavow him. Make your own conclusions. Yep, exactly. That's true, though. There's no loyalty on the left. This is why I'm never going to call myself a leftist. Because they ain't going to defend my ass. And I don't know why you're defending him. Because everyone's throwing him out to the wolves. They defended people like... I'm trying to think of his name now. Willem Van Spronson. They defended him because he was shot by the cops. They defended him because it was suicide by cop. And they may use certain aspects of what Michael did. But the fact that he shot somebody destroys the image of being peaceful. It destroys that image. And now the shit is going to go serious. He didn't go into hiding. He went to a different jurisdiction. What do you call that? He could have just went to jail and, been cool with that and found a way to be an inspiration. But instead, he decided to go out guns a-blazing like he was, like he was some Wild West guy, What type of shit is that, man? He went to the press. He obviously wasn't concerned with hiding. Yeah, that was pretty stupid, wasn't it? He obviously went to an independent journalist That independent journalist sold that story to Vice. Let me tell you something. You want to die for your beliefs? Let me ask you that. You want to die for your beliefs? Let's just be fair here, Skeptical Manus. You want to die for your beliefs? You're willing to go out guns a-blazing for that? Think he was hiding or think he was being too open? Yeah. He could do both. So which one is it? Yeah. He was in hiding, but then he also trusted a journalist and he decided to be big and bad. You can do both, can't you? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could do both. Why don't you think he can do both? It's the same thing with you said that it could be self-defense, but it could also be defending other people, right? Isn't that what you're saying about self-defense? It's not self-defense when there are other people around. So explain that to me. Why do you explain it to somebody else? I don't really get this whole argument. I really don't get it. You know, trying to defend somebody like this. You know, you can say what you want to about Patriot Prayer, this and that, but guess what? Did that guy ask for it? Let me ask you that question point blank. Did Aaron Danielson ask to be killed? Because he had an American flag in the back. Did he deserve to be killed? Yes or no? I'll wait. You can't hide and openly talk to the press at the same time. Oh, really? I can see the protest for his freedom now. His jailing could have been a rallying point for the left now that the George Floyd killing is getting further away and the cops have been arrested. Probably asked to be killed. Oh, so he deserved to be killed. Probably asked to be killed depending on what he did. So did he say, shoot me, nibba? Like Jacobson did? We don't have enough evidence. No. Don't give me that. Nope. You said he deserved to die. Is that what you're saying now? Are you saying he deserved to die? Let's just put it that way. Yes or no? I'm going to be like a lawyer. Nope. Yes or no? You need to give me an answer right now. Possibly. No. You need to give me an answer. Yes or no? Did he deserve to get shot and killed? That's all you need to tell me. Yes or no? In your heart of hearts. No. You need to give me a yes or no answer. I'm going to be straight like a lawyer now. Yes or no? No. You need to answer the question that I'm asking you right now. Yes or no? We don't have enough evidence. And this isn't going to be shown, is it? They're not going to investigate this. The dude's dead. So this whole business, and once again, you think this is going to be covered later on? No, it's just going to be local. So people are going to have to dig for it. If he threatened his life with what? A knife? Guy had a knife on him. Yeah, read carefully. I'm reading, and I know the facts of this somewhat. Okay? So because he sprayed something in the dude's face, he deserved to get shot for that? The fact that he had a knife, even though Reinhold had a gun, that's okay? Danielson had a knife. Rono had a gun. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight, right? Isn't that what they always say? So you need to listen carefully. So is a knife still a potential if you have a gun? Answer me that question. Is that a threat to your life even though you have a gun? I'll wait. I'll wait for a response on that. I'll wait. Killed a guy that didn't have any weapon. Which one? The guy who tried to rush him? You mean that guy? The one that, decided to be cute? The one that said, "Shoot me, nigga"? The one that wanted to do that? Is that what he said? The first guy. You're talking about Jacob Rosenbaum, right? You're talking about that guy. The guy who was rushing him, with all that, yeah. So what should he have done? Should he have just headbutted him? Answer me that question. Should he have headbutted him with his AR and been good with that? Oh, really? Let's also compare age as well. So this Michael Reinoehl was 48. Kyle Rittenhouse was 17. You think there's a difference? You think that puts things into play? A 17-year-old who doesn't know, who may have, gotten some bad information or whatever, versus a 48-year-old, you think there's a difference? I think Kyle actually has a strong argument for self-defense with the first guy, even though that guy had no weapon. Yeah, the second guy did. So you tell me. You think that adds in a difference where the Kyle Rittenhouse was 17 and this Michael was 48 years old, a grown-ass man? You think there's a difference there? A guy who said he was in the military, even though people are saying he wasn't in the military. See, this is what doesn't make sense to me. Where, people will be ready to smear everybody. So if the Patriot guy had a knife and threatened him with it, I would say Michael was justified in killing him. Oh, really? Did he rush him? Yes, I didn't see him rush him. Did you? I didn't see the Patriot Prayer guy go at him with a knife and try to stab him. I didn't see that. Did you? I heard bang, bang. You tell me. See how I'm being consistent? Did he rush him? You're not being consistent. These are two completely different things. Guy decided to rush him with several other people coming at him. Several other people decided to come at him in Kenosha. This guy has a knife with maybe a couple other people. Did he rush him? That's being consistent. Did he rush him? Did he see a threat to his life? Or did he just come up, talked a little bit of shit, bang, bang, and ran off? You tell me, right? We didn't see the entire thing happen. Footage is not clear, so I guess the guy's word against another. You heard bang, bang. Heard. Why do you give this guy, Michael, so much more value than Kyle Rittenhouse? Is Kyle Rittenhouse better? Or, is Michael Reinoehl better as a person morally than Kyle Rittenhouse? Let me just say that. Is he more of a moral person for doing that? Was he truly being an anti-fascist because he shot somebody? Did he fulfill his anti-fascist mission in shooting a random Patriot Prayer member? Yes or no? Possibly the footage in Kyle's first shooting is clear, whereas now you're not being consistent now, are you? You're just relying, So tell me. So let's put it on a moral consistency then. Even though I don't like Trump supporters, I think arguably, yeah. So no. Answer my question. So is Michael Reinoehl justified in what he did? Was he justified in shooting him? Because he was an anti-fascist, and apparently he was a fascist. Apparently, Aaron Danielson was a fascist, right? Is that what we're saying? Was he a fascist? Because he had an American flag and because he was a MAGA peeve, he was a fascist. Let me make sure here. What concept? Evidence. Well, they have video of more closer up of where it was. So I don't know what you're talking about. Was he good or bad for what he did? Let's make it even. Let's make it easy. Was he good or bad for what he did? And that evidence is not going to come out. We know, you and I both know that's not going to happen. The guy's dead. Nobody's going to research it now. No one's going to look into it. Michael never said he killed the guy because he's fascist. He said he killed the guy because he threatened his life. Why was he there, though, in the first place? Because somebody called him up? But he said he wasn't part of an organization. Right? Well, that's the way it's looking, isn't it? If Michael lied, well, yeah. Because once again, he had a knife. Right? So apparently he was justified, right? He was justified in shooting him. He should have shot all of them, right? He just, because they were all threats, right? I have no idea, Red Dindonian. I have no idea. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and drop in the link here. That way you can just come on. You can just go ahead and put in a fake Avi or something like that. Let's go ahead and get into this. Why not? I'm not going to sit here and dox you. You can go ahead and just put on your own thing. Let's get into it then. I'll wait. Like I said, just like that other one, I'll keep it private. We're not going to, I'm not going to use this as clips or anything else. I'll wait. Uncle Thomas and now it's Bo Voshno. Maybe I am. I don't know. But why is it that we put so much value over Michael Reinhold versus the other guy? You keep talking about evidence. I know damn well that evidence is not going to be found. Because why are people going to put that much effort? And even then, it's not going to be reported. Can you tell? Let me ask the chat then. You think that evidence that's going to be researched about Michael Reinhold, you think that's going to be delivered to the public on a national level? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead. Go ahead. But I'll wait. I'll wait. I don't get it, to be honest with you. I don't. Why do we make this whole, because he did the right thing? I'm trying to say something about both the killers and keeps not appearing. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that, Red Dindonian. Yeah. The lack of body cam footage in his killing will only fuel speculation that he was assassinated. Oh, you're one of those, huh? You're one of those where are you one of the folks, Skeptical Mantis, that say that that Michael Reinhold was actually an assassin? Are you one of those folks? Because I know that conspiracy theory is starting to come out now where Michael Reinhold was actually a killer for somebody, or that he was working for the feds, and that's where they killed him off. Are you one of those types? I'm trying to make sure here, man. I'm trying to make sure. Cops usually release body cam footage when it helps them. Once again, there's video of showing him at the end. They show the neighbor or whatever filming it, right? And they were trying to revive him, okay, after they shot him. I don't get this. Once again, I'm going to put, the game doesn't change. It's just the players. Cops are not going to be gotten rid of because the system changes. Let's be honest with that. Okay. Can we? That's not what I said. No, I never said he was an assassin. I was saying the cops might have assassinated him. Well, we'll never know, will we? We will never know. Or we won't know anytime soon because that footage isn't going to be released. So they purposely killed him. Why would they kill him? So this guy already has prior footage of saying that he would shoot somebody. Is Nazbol Destiny? Yeah. Maybe I need to be challenged a bit. All right, maybe I'm being challenged a bit, but I really don't get why we would defend him. Why would we defend this guy, Michael Reinhold? You can hate the cops all day. Go ahead and hate the cops. Go ahead. But the thing is what he did, what Michael Reinhold did right. killed some random dude, killed some random Patriot Prayer member. That's okay. If you pulled a gun on them and forced them to shoot him, if the cops should release that. Well, what did the body cam footage of George Floyd, what did that do? What did that do? That showed him that he was high as a kite and everything else, right? That didn't do any good for anybody else. It didn't prove anything. So what's that footage of him saying? So they purposely just came in there and they just shot him, and that would make things better? It's just going to make things worse, isn't it? It's just going to make things worse, isn't it? So releasing that footage would mean Zippo. It actually just make things worse. It just adds more fuel to the fire, right? Because now they say, as much as Antifa right now has a mixed view of him, they'll say, yeah, he was a hero, but ultimately he shouldn't have killed that guy. But now it's just going to be that much worse. Right? Right? So I guess I just, should I just start singing the song, We Love Our Cops, Our Law Enforcement? I don't get that. I don't get it. You can feel as you want to about the cops, but guess what? Is killing some random dude okay? Were there others around all this? I know. Oh, the footage isn't out there. Yeah, you're right. But why? Why did he decide to do that? To be clear, he did fire at the cops before they killed him, right? That's what I heard. That's what I heard. But of course, Skeptical Mantis wants all the footage. Knowing the truth will make things worse. Depends on what the footage shows. What happened? No, and I asked this already, but what did the extra footage of George Floyd, what did it change? What did it change? Knowing the truth will make things worse? Yeah, it will, because people are going to be madder. If the body cam footage shows him pulling a gun on the cops, then people will say he was asking for it and the cops will seem innocent. Well, what should he have done then? Should he have just, so is it good to go out guns a-blazing? Is it good to go out guns a-blazing? If the body cam footage shows he's, him pulling a gun on the cops, then people will say he was asking for it and the cops will seem innocent. Well, what do you want? Do you want to get shot? If body cam footage he didn't pull a gun and they just killed him, then it will prove that it was an extrajudicial. Yeah, once again, though, U.S. Marshals are the ones that did that. U.S. Marshals. That's federal. You think that the federal government isn't going to protect one of their own? Let's be real about this. Once again, U.S. Marshals. That's a federal organization, right? Prove that was an politically motivated killing. So that's going to make things worse, isn't it? It's going to make things worse. So now cops are going to make sure that they turn off footage so that they can kill whoever they want to. Right? I don't see that as a positive thing. Do you see that as a positive thing? I don't get it. I'll be honest with you. I don't get it. I don't get this, man. You can feel as you want to about cops. Everyone knows the government is corrupt. Everybody already knows it's corrupt. Overthrow it. That's why I support balkanization. I support balkanization because, I know the government is corrupt. But I also know the game doesn't change. It's just the players. Corruption exists in every human being, in my view. That's the difference. And you can say that's nihilism or whatever the case may be, but I understand that's just the way it is, period. And no fucking system is going to change that. No, I'm not in favor of hiding corruption of the cops. But guess what? You think that corruption doesn't exist on just one side? You think that this mysterious person who called Michael isn't that way too? That's not going to happen. The U.S. should be broken down into smaller non-imperialist countries. That's bullshit, though. They're not all going to be non-imperialists, though. Let's be real. They're not all going to be non-imperialists. Some of them are going to be imperialists. Because guess what? They're going to have to make their deals with China or Russia or wherever the case may be. That's the realistic thing. Are we sure they even had body cams on? I don't think Washington cops are required to do some. See, that's the difference, though. Like I say, the game doesn't change. It's just the players. You want to say, oh, well, they're going to be non-imperialist countries. No, the difference is that I realize They're not going to be all non-imperialists. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. They're going to make their deals, and if they think that they can get something by invading another place, guess what? They're going to do it. I'll tell you that right now. Because the death of privacy and corruption, they won't be successful imperialists. What about the Netherlands? I know that's whataboutism, but yeah. Netherlands was a pretty small country, and yet they took over various parts, and even people like Leopold and everything else. So I don't really get what you're saying with that. Small countries have an incentive to be self-sustaining. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all, And if you want to compare that to like the DPRK, guess what? The DPRK gets supplies from Macau. They have different places where they get money. Otherwise, how would you see Kim Jong-un driving around in a Mercedes-Benz? Right? So like I say, see, the difference between me and you is that I realize ultimately you can't get rid of everything. And you can say non-imperialist all you want to and be socialist as much as you want to. Go ahead. But I live in the reality, though, is that you can't get rid of taxes. You ain't going to get rid of all that other stuff. I'm wondering how the U.S. will maintain the worldwide empire if the country is broken down in smaller states. It wouldn't work. Once again, I'm not saying the United States is going to exist as one nation. But guess what? It's going to be localism, right? The difference, though, is that China is going to be the new imperialist power. And that's going to be good. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just saying is that there are some people that are talking about, depending on, would you consider ANCAPs to be non-imperialist? Let me ask you that question. Right? They don't like taxes, do they? Libertarians don't like taxes. You think that there wouldn't be an attempt to do that? Right? China is becoming imperialist. It's not imperialist right now, but come on. Let's be honest about what's going on in Africa, right? I mean, come on. You think that they're all just treating them right? Come on. I don't really get it, to be honest with you. But the thing is, once again, do you want to get rid of the police, Skeptical Manus, completely get rid of the police and have vigilantism? Or have, I don't know, like some sort of police like the KGB? I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. Go ahead. This is why I don't get MLs and all those type of folks who are so mad at these protests. It's bullshit. Because guess what? You're still going to have people like Felix Dzerzhinsky who are going to lay down the law. All right? I'll tell you that right now. Once again, Felix Dzerzhinsky or someone like him will come in and they will lay down the fucking law. And they're not going to have LARPers like that guy Michael, or even people like Kyle Rittenhouse are going to allow them to run around on streets. They ain't going to do that. They kill both of them. I'll tell you that right now. They kill both of them. All right? That's the reality. I don't like this fake ass shit where you're just like, well, I don't like the cops. Are you a bootlicker? Well, I don't know. Was Felix Dzerzhinsky a bootlicker? He wasn't. He became that way over time because guess what? Reality is a motherfucker. And guess what? He did what he had to do, right? He did what he had to do. I want to abolish the current police state. We should build local community-based law enforcement that is not professionally based. That's stupid. Law enforcement should be the second job, not their main job. That's not going to happen. Because that never happened with Felix Dzerzhinsky. That never happened with other folks. That's not going to happen. That's nice to say. But guess what? If you think that corruption isn't going to happen, that's bullshit. Because their second job. What? You mean you want to do something like a volunteer police force? Law enforcement shouldn't be a career? Local people should be elected? Do it like 20 hours a week? That's nice to say. That's nice to say, but it's ultimately idealistic. I'll tell you that right now. You're going to have people that do that job all their lives so that they can track various groups. So if you're going to track down drug dealers, you're not going to want someone that just works 20 hours a week. Eventually, that's going to bite you in the ass. All right? I'll tell you that right now. That's going to bite you in the ass. Yep. It does. This sounds like some very anarcho sort of cringe right there. Yeah. They had to be trained in most fall discipline. Yep, exactly. So, like I say, You can feel as you want to and not like the cops currently, and you can call me bootlicker, go ahead. But the reality is that this same, you can be mad at the police all you want to, but guess what? You're going to need those type of folks. They should be elected like every other. Portland shooter's dead, Jimmy Wesper. Yeah, he's dead. That's all we need to say. Yeah, they should be elected like every city block and elect a handful of people. That's favoritism. It shouldn't be lifelong in most cases. That's favoritism. I'm sorry. That's that's just a popularity contest where you're just going to vote for the nicest people. Yeah, very true. Communist leader would have them both killed. After all, it's hard to forget when Lenin did the anarchists. Yeah, cops see themselves as above the working class. Police need to have actual productive jobs. He was killed by the U.S. Marshals. Now, I'll try to be fair. I'll try to be good faith. Is that he allegedly was shot because he pulled out an AK and was shooting, and the U.S. Marshals killed him. Now, of course, Skeptical Manus says he wants to see the body cam footage to decide whether he was actually killed, whether he was assassinated or if he was actually wanted to die in a blaze. We have the biggest police state in the world, in world history. Most cops do nothing but drive around and harass people. This is literally Vosht here. Do you want social workers to come out with police and talk with them too? Is that what you want? I mean, if that's what you want, okay, fine. That's your world. But come on. Once again, I don't really get this. I don't claim to be bulletproof in my arguments, and maybe I'm being a bit reactionary here. I'll be honest. But I don't really get this whole thing of, most cops do nothing but drive around and harass people. Okay. Then do you want social workers? You're going to have to get people, you're going to have to incentivize being but I doubt U.S. Marshals have cameras on them. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either, like I say. But I don't really get this whole thing of what needs to happen then. I don't get this defense of you're going to say that Kyle Rittenhouse has a good case, but ultimately, he was bad, but Michael was good because it was self-defense, even though it wasn't just him defending. It's just kind of, I don't get it. I don't get it. And he decided to, his vanity showed up and he decided to do an interview. I don't really get it. It's one of thousands of problems that will never be solved under capitalism. Yeah, if we legalize drugs, we would defund many criminal organizations that would be deprived of major source of income, make drugs a health problem. Okay. How does that incentivize people from becoming social workers to becoming people that work with drug rehab? That's some tough shit. Most people don't want to deal with that. I'll tell you that right now. Most people don't want to deal with people shitting themselves or people that are throwing up, that are dealing with getting off heroin or something like that. And also legalizing drugs. Let me put it this way. Legalizing marijuana. If we want to go, Kyle Rittenhouse is dead. No. No, the one in Portland. No, Kyle Rittenhouse is still alive. We're talking, yeah. Are you in favor of a strong police state? Do you need a nanny state? You know what I'd say to them? I'm trying to give you a thoughtful answer. I'm not going to just give you a meme answer. What I'm going to say is that I want a police state. If you want to defend, I don't really get this. What has legalizing weed done? What has legalizing weed done? What has it done? A lot of white folks are getting involved and they're getting money and they're doing all these things. And yet there are black folks that are still in jail because of it. And it's a business like any other. So you have all these white folks lining up to get their licenses so that they could sell sativa or whatever the case may be. And everyone else is still in jail. So you want to legalize, weed, or cannabis, I should say. Decriminalize, don't legalize. Legalizing weed has deprived many Mexican cartels of funds. I don't really see it that way because the thing is they can still produce meth. They can still sell guns. They can still sell cocaine. So I don't really get that. They just shifted production to something else. I don't get that. Yeah, legalizing weed has taken money away from minorities. It has. That's true. And decriminalize, don't legalize. Yeah, that's fair. So I don't really get this. I'm trying to, once again, I'll admit maybe I'm fucked up with what I said about Michael Reinauer. Okay, fair. Or Reinald. Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. I'm trying to talk about this recently now. Mexican cartels were complaining about it a few years ago when the West Coast started to legalize weed. Look into it. And they shifted production, didn't they? They shifted production. Once again, I don't really get this, where it's like, okay, but isn't imperialism a form of invasion? Like I say, I mean, y'all can have that argument, but meth is a different market. They can produce more, but they still need to find consumers. So what do you think about legalizing meth then? Should it be legalized? Not every drug dealer is involved with cartel, especially not every weed dealer. It's easy to grow. Yeah, that's true. That's true too, Gitler. That's true. There are a lot of small time guys who will just sell weed, right? They'll just sell cannabis. You know? So do you want to decriminalize? Because the reality is that what I don't get is when you want to talk about the drug war is the reality is, once again, the game doesn't change. It's just the players. I remember seeing a comic from a long time ago, or a little cartoon, and had Rite Aid and like Walgreens, and they had the drug wars between Rite Aid and Walgreens. So realistically, that doesn't change anything. You know, decriminalizing it or legalizing it, that means nothing. The thing is, then you'll just have Sativa in a Walmart. Is that what you want? You want Sativa in a Walmart? I think they should have rehab centers like halfway houses where drug addicts can go to get meth. But they have, under certain circumstances, shake and bake gang. Yeah. I think they should have rehab centers like halfway houses where drug addicts can go to get meth, but they have to be under certain observation restrictions. Huh? I would want people to get off it. I want people to get off it. I know that's a hard thing to say, but it's like, I don't want people to still have meth. You know, once again, I'm going to ask this basic question. How do you incentivize ordinary people to getting jobs in rehab or to get people to work in mental health? You have to have some sort of way to incentivize people to give them more money or give them, bennies or something like that to say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and, let them in. Don't they already have something like that with heroin in Canada? I have no idea. I don't know anything about Canada. They get heroin and do it safely. Yeah. Once again, though, as I've asked several times already, how are you going to get people to get in those jobs? How do you get people to do that? I don't understand that. I'll be honest with you. How are you going to do that? Even under socialism, you would have to get more people to go into those fields and be willing to stay there. Because I imagine I'm trying to think of the word now. I think it's, what is it? The overhead, if it comes in a bottle, they tell you, okay, pay them good wages. Thing is, you're supposed to be paid under the same wage under socialism. Give them free education. Education doesn't help when you see someone puking their guts out and says, I need cocaine, and they start screaming and rah! Like Cuba. Does Cuba have meth? I don't think they do. I don't think Cuba has meth. So that's a whole different type of thing, right? Or bath salts. That's some heavy shit, man. When you see someone go off on that, that's like being a fucking zombie. Are people prepared for that? I don't know. Like I say, yeah, give them free education and everything else. You seem to be very simplified, in my view. One big barrier to the medical field is the cost of medical school, obvious. Okay, what about the actual job? That's what I keep saying. What about the actual job? Pretty sure weed is not legal in Cuba. Yeah, exactly. That's yeah. And once again, the same thing with China. Well, one of the base things about what Mao Zedong did was all those drug dealers were executed. Based. It was good to kill those guys. Yeah, most people I know in rehab programs are former drug addicts. Okay. And that's where they find it. So they know those situations. But the thing is, though, I mean, that's still one hell of a job to do, man. Weed is legal in DPRK. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Like I say, I mean, I don't really get it. Yeah, I don't really get the whole thing. You can say I'm wrong about cops and say I'm cringe for that. That's fine. Okay, but I don't really get this whole thing about like, okay, You know, once again, you didn't answer me about the social workers. Should social workers be sent out? Should they have them 24/7 working? But you said that you wanted them to be part-time. You said that cops should be part-time. That shouldn't be, law enforcement shouldn't be a job. And I say to myself, that has never happened that way. Any successful country, that has never happened that way. You have people who dedicate their lives to being some sort of law enforcement, whether it's people like Felix Dzerzhinsky, whether it's the people in China, you know, whether it's, I'm sure even in Cuba. I haven't studied every single thing about Cuba, but I imagine that they have their own force. Even Venezuela, they have their own folks as well. So I don't really get this whole idea where it's like, oh, we need to, that's some very anarchistic type thing. I don't really get it, to be honest with you. You know? Once again, this kind of sounds kind of ANCAP-ish type of thing where it's like, oh, well, if there were less cops around, then, you know. I mean, go ahead, I guess. I mean, I don't know, yeah. I don't know about the execution, though. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing that they killed the drug dealers. So I've heard. I don't know for sure, but yeah. It is what it is, right? I mean, the thing is, I mean, would you want people like, I don't know, Pablo Escobar to get killed, right? I mean, come on, man. Like I said, this is where you get into the humanism type shit. And you get into all that sort of, well, maybe we should do things this way or that way. And so like that, you know, you can play that sort of game, that intellectual game if you want to. But guess what? When you're out there actually doing it, people are going to make their choices. Period. And organizations are going to make their choices. And it's not going to be in our hands. Look up supervised consumer services, medical professionals, supervise the drug use. All right. I'll take a look at it. All right. Oh, supervised consumption. Sorry. Supervised consumption services. All right. Let's take a look. CS provides a hygienic space for people to use illicit drugs under supervision of trained staff. Okay. This is AMFAR. You know what? I'll go ahead and go down a little bit further and make sure. Drugpolicy.org, harmreduction.org. All right, let me check. Let's go ahead and read this here. Let's go ahead and read this. Let's read this right quick. I think the high-level law enforcement people should be elected. That's nice to say. That's nice to say, but it's another thing. Once society changes, it would make sense those positions to last for a few years. That's nice to say. Yeah, Lenin wrote about the same thing, where all those people should be elected in state and revolution. I realize that, but it's a whole different thing once you get in there. It's a whole different thing, right? And you get idiots that come in and take over afterwards. So it's nice to say. It's a whole other thing to do. I'm just saying. Okay, let me see here. Preventing overdose. I'll go ahead and click on that. Oh, never mind. Okay, you just got to read through it. All right. Okay, we partnered with other groups in New York City to discuss implementing SCS locally, see what we learned. Okay, we hold a vision of supportive environments for people who use drugs in this country. We hope that people in the not-too-distant future will be curating photos and best practices of SCS sites here at home. Until then, we'll share tools and info from other countries. Okay. Okay, so this is, all right. I'll click on the other one then. All right, I'll go back up to this one, the AMFAR. Okay. You see what we got here. Okay. United States people who use drugs continue to be at elevated risk for HIV, according to CDC. At the same time, a surging epidemic of overdoses from heroin and prescriptions is 2017. So it's a little bit old. I'm just trying to read it. i.e. opioids. Claimed nearly 50,000 lives in 2014 alone. To save lives, there is a pronounced need to implement scientifically validated harm reduction programs which reduce the risks associated with drug use and facilitate access to addiction treatment and medical care. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and see here. Research has shown that SCS is associated with greater access to medical and social services and reduce public drug use. Moreover, there are no persuasive data to suggest that SCS increase drug use or the frequency of injecting, or that they result in higher rates of local drug-related crimes. Download the PDF. Okay, this is all right. I'll go ahead and look at the PDF. I'm trying to be fair here. Gotta give me that. At least I'm trying to, not just bury my head in the sand and just say, well, this is how I believe. I'll read it. I'll look at some of this here. Drug overdose fatalities. Okay, opioid. Okay, all drug overdoses involving any opioid. All right, 2000 to 2014. All right. Making their case, the need for SCS in the United States. People who use drugs continue to be at high risk for HIV infection, but have low access to sterile syringes. While the rate of new HIV transmissions associated with injection drug use increased from 2010 to 2014, people who inject drugs, PWID, account for 11% of all men and 23% of all women living with HIV. Moreover, survival is lower among people diagnosed with HIV whose infection is attributed to injection drug use. Okay. Hep C, okay, increased 2.5 times between 2010 and 2014, predominantly among young persons who are white, live in non-urban areas, particularly in eastern and midwestern states, have a history of injection drug use, and previously used opioid agonists such as oxycodone. Okay. Estimated age-adjusted death rates. Okay. Okay. Are SCS effective? The most thoroughly studied programs as well as systematic reviews. Okay. Well, there you go. All right. Okay, let's see here. I mean, why not? Why elect sheriffs in many parts of the U.S.? Why not? Well, okay, but a lot of the time, though, is that sheriffs are one thing. That's for small counties. You think that would be different for a place like Portland? You think that would be different for a bigger city? For me personally, some things aren't going to go away, though. I'll just say that right now. I don't live in a fantasy world where it's just like if the United States breaks up, then, everything's going to be, happy rays and sunshine. No, I don't believe that at all. The game doesn't change. It's just the players. That's all I need to believe at the end of the day. The game can be whatever you want it to be, including drug use and this and that. So you can go ahead and live in this fantasy and say, oh, well, if we had this, then it would just be great all across the board. Well, that's easy to say. It's another thing to do, right? People get very cold as they get older. I'll tell you that right now. People get cold. I'm cold as ice in a lot of ways, man, because I know there's a lot of shit I don't fuck with. All right. And that's one of the things I tell about, is people get cold. They get cold. They don't want to get involved with much stuff. I don't get involved with many people anymore. I don't want to. The main empire of the world today, if it falls, there's a lot of power vacuums in the world. That would be a good thing. It could be a good thing. Could. There's a lot of could in that statement. We get more conservative with age, to be honest. Yeah, we do. We get through stuff, we get fucked over, and people are like, nah, man, I ain't fuck with that. USA is the main empire. No, it isn't. Once again, people give way too much credit to the United States. Way too much credit. You give Americans credit for everything that is wrong in the world. And it's like, nah, that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all, man. So, I say, yeah, the United States is going to crumble because that's what's going to happen. But on the other hand, to say that it could be a good thing, I don't really believe that. Those same folks that control the United States, those folks will just go wherever the money is. Period, man. I mean, once again, I've used this example before, and I'm sure I'm going to get disagreement here. I know. But the thing is that did capitalism in Russia end because the Soviet Union took over or the Bolsheviks took over? Hell no. They went to France. They went to New York. They went to, the United States in general. So it didn't end. It just changed places. Yeah. And those bases will be taken over by whoever wants them. All right. By whoever wants them. So I don't really get this. Yeah. They have almost 1,000. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then people just take it over. I wouldn't use the word conservative, but definitely black-hearted. Yeah. Like I say, then other people will take over those bases. That's the reality, man. That's the reality that I hold anyway. I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like the U.S. is the main empire. Y'all give way too much credit, though. I don't really get this whole thing. Y'all give way too much credit to the United States for like everything bad in the world. It's like, yo. To me, I hold the view, like I say. The game doesn't change, it's just the players. I don't really get this whole type of shit where it's like, you want to hate Americans. That's fine. Go ahead and hate Americans. And hate, and hate more specifically, the corporations and everything else. But you think that these corporations don't have another idea? I mean, come on, man. They have all sorts of contingency plans we don't know anything about. The sovereign people should take over those bases and throw the Americans out of their countries. Yeah, I can agree with that. But you think that won't lead to some excesses, we'll say? Come on, man. Ultimately, but that's none of my fucking business. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I can support Korea being united, but you know what? It's none of my fucking business what they do. It's the same thing with the whole Israel-Palestine thing. It's none of my fucking business. That's up to the Arabs to decide what they want to do. And if they want to kill Jews, let them. I'll just tell you that right now. I'll Fed post and say, if they want to kill all the Jews there, let them. It's the same thing with what happens with the I'm trying to think. My mind is gone. I'm sorry, folks. Britain also does shitting things, and Israel. Exactly. I'm trying to think of it now. I've almost got it. It's almost there, I think. Oops. Houthis. That's it. I couldn't think of the word. If the Houthis want to kick out Jews from Yemen, they can do what they want. That's their choice, right? But the thing is, I mean, that's my view. Ultimately, they're going to make their decisions for their own country, right? Yeah, fine. F Israel, yeah. But the thing is, I mean, I better not hear a word from hypocritical people like you who will say, don't do anything to the Israelis. Don't do anything to the Jews. It's not up to you. If the Arabs decide they want to get rid of them, let them. I'll tell you that right now. Let them. I don't want to hear a word from any humanist in this country about it. I don't want to hear a word. I'll tell you that right now. I don't want to hear it. If they decide to do what they want to do, let them. If they want to have a caliphate, let them. Inshallah. Let them. All right. Once this country breaks up, I'll play the game, whatever it is. That's my attitude. You want to call that opportunism? So be it. But that's my view. I'll play the game, whatever it may be. But to be ignorant and say, oh, well, it's going to be, non-imperialist breakup countries. That's bullshit. I don't live in that fucking fantasy. They're going to do what they need to do to survive. Period. End of story. I don't live in this fantasy where it's like, oh, we need to, they'll all be anti-imperial. No, that's retarded. It is where they live. Yeah, exactly. They'll do what they need to do to survive. They'll get in where they fit in. They'll get it how they live. Period. Maybe that's more of a lumpen proletariat attitude, but that's the attitude I have. They're going to do what they got to do. I don't really get this whole type of thing. Oh, well, I just hope they're not anti-imperial, all the separate countries of the United States, they'll be anti-imperialist. That's bullshit. I don't believe that for a minute. I just don't. They're going to do what they have to do. If they get support from China or Russia, then so be it. So be it. But yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, you can be mad at the cops all you want to. Go ahead. I'm going back to it. I'm going back to the beginning. I know my boomer brain, but it's like, go ahead and be mad at the cops all you want to. But it's like, if you think that shit is going to end because another government comes into play, that's bullshit. That's a damn lie. They're going to do what they have to do to keep security. Period. That's the whole thing about conservatism, right? They want security and they want to be safe, right? Imperialist adventures will backfire. So you say. So you say. We don't know that. I mean, you could say that all day. You don't know that. Well, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and defend it, but the thing is that they're going to do what they have to do. Is anyone interested in joining the Nosbolt server? Maybe I'm me and Illuminati. I don't know. Don't promote security. It's a matter of opinion. Yeah, it's a matter of opinion. If your country cannot produce metal or produce steel, for example, and you invade an area that does, then that does produce some security. You know, like I said, for example, when the Soviet Union, decided to invade Afghanistan. I mean, they did that mostly for and you can, I know, I'm not going to sit here and defend the fucking Taliban or anything. Fuck them niggas. But it's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like I say, once again, you're Americentric. Why are you being Americentric when you say Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and all failures for the U.S.? So there's no other country that was imperialist. So that never worked for the United Kingdom for the longest time. You think that never worked for, like I say, once again, the Netherlands when they had the, or even the British with the East India Company. You think that never happened? I know. I knew I was going to catch some shit when I said invade. I know. But you think that never, once again, that's very Americentric of you to say Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, all failures for the U.S. How long did the British Empire last? I hope all imperialists fail in their work. Hoping and then saying that imperialist adventures always fail are two different things. You're hoping all imperialists fail. So once again, you're at odds, aren't you? Where you say, oh, well, all imperialist adventures will fail. But then you said, well, imperialist adventures will eventually fail. I don't live in hope. I don't live in that shit. Sometimes things don't go your way, and you have to learn to adapt. All right, this is part of the problem that I have with these when you're so drowned in ideology. I'm not attached to ideology. I can read some stuff and be like, yeah, that's cool. But guess what? That doesn't fit in everything. Most modern military adventures have failed. Once again, you have to put modern in front of it. Why do you have to put modern in front of it? I don't get that. Most military adventures have failed. Would you say that Russia helping Syria is a military adventure? Let's be honest now. Because the thing is, you think that Russia is doing it purely out of their hearts, out of their good nature to help Syria because I'm living in modern times. Is Russia doing a military adventure by helping Bashar al-Assad? And you can feel as you want to about Assad, say, Shaba Surya, Bashar. Go ahead. But do you think that what Russia is doing by helping Syria, you think they're not doing that for oil? You think they aren't? Russia's in Syria by invitation. So they don't want oil. You're not answering my question. They're not doing it for oil. They're not doing it for any sort of benefit other than just to help another country. This is the whole idea that, well, Russia is still the Soviet Union. They're helping. They're helping Syria. They're not doing it for any other reason, right? Right? Yeah, the Russians have their own motives, but agree that oil and resources, yeah. So you wouldn't call that adventurism or some sort of, Russia has a lot of problems, yeah. So you don't think that, once again, isn't that a form of kind of like, that's kind of like imperialism light? Now, I'm not going to sit here and denounce that. I'm going to say Russians are going to do what they got to do. They have a fairly small economy compared to China even. They're doing what they have to do so that they could get some support. This is just a start so that they can build support in other nations. Once they get that support, then they want to be on terms with the Chinese, right? They want to build up their own strength so that they're at that same level, right? So once again, They do what they, they do what they have to do, right? That's the pragmatism that I'm living in. I'm not living in, I love this country because they're anti-imperialist. No. I'm just saying is that they're doing it for their own people. I'm trying to be pragmatic. That's how I see it anyway. You can just say I'm full of shit. Go right ahead. But I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, well, anti-imperialism. That's gay. That's gay shit. I mean, to me anyway. I think smaller countries like Syria should use empires against each other. Is this some 3D chess now? Are we playing 3D chess? They also get support from Hezbollah and from there. But it's like I don't really get that where it's like, is this 3D chess now? Because the thing is that now, I mean, pretty much the Russians own parts of Syria. You do realize that, right? I mean, I'm trying to think of the province offhand, but basically the Russian businessmen are entering into Syria, and they are setting up shop. Yeah, Russia also have NATO and EU plaguing them. Yeah, that's true. Once again, I don't doubt it. But the thing is, once again, I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, you can feel as you want to about the NATO and EU. Ultimately, I'm not European. Go ahead and, Russia, go ahead and invade. Go ahead. I mean, do what you got to do. I mean, Russia's not going to do that. They're not that stupid. But the thing is, I don't really get this whole type of shit where it's like, people are so blinded by fucking ideology. I'm going to repeat this again, but it's like, I don't have a direct ideology. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's my problem. But I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, thinking that, non-imperial, anti-imperialism. Rojava works with the U.S. against Assad. Maybe they're just trying to use empires. We don't care about Rojava. Screw Rojava. Screw the Kurds. We don't care about the Kurds. Just call yourself Iranian and call it a day. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you my truth. Rojava also sold oil to Israel as well. Does that mean it's 3D chess? Does that mean it's 3D chess because they sold oil that they had in I'm trying to think, in southern Syria? They were selling oil to Israel, and of course through the I cannot think of his name now. My mind is gone, but you know what? I don't care. But the thing is that they were selling oil to Israel, and yet, they're just trying to survive neoliberalism. Exactly. Once again, that's what they are. That's the same thing. Russia is bringing out a lot of the czar. They're building memorials to czars now, because that's the game that they're playing. Like I say, once again, people want to paint these countries as the absolute evil and the absolute good. I don't live in that fantasy of this is absolute evil and that's absolute good. I don't live in that world. I try not to, because I know that things are complicated and they want to do what's best for their people and do what's best for themselves. Once again, this is why, maybe I'm too Julie pilled. Y'all can, I know some of y'all know who Julie is, right? Y'all know who Julie is on Twitter and on, YouTube here, and he's more, he's becoming more of a neocon, this and that sort of thing. But he wants to do it for, the Germans and whatnot. And to a point, is he LARPing? Yeah, to a point. But yeah, good and evil are bullshit. Yeah, but it's like, that's why I don't get it. It's like where it's like, oh, the U.S. is so bad and so evil. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and deny that. What I will say, though, is you think that other countries are going to be better? I don't live in that fantasy. You think that if you think that America or the United States invented, all the bad in the world, then you're controlled by ideology. You're so up your own ideology that you don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah. Full pro-imperialism, like, Julie is cringe, bro. Yeah, that's fair. Like I say. But, I feel like people are going to do what they have to do, right? So I don't really get this idea. You can hate America. Go ahead and hate America. Hate the United States, I should say, more specifically. But it's like, if you think that, it's the end all to be all, is Julie a homosex haver? I think he is. I don't know. Like I say, I take it with a grain of salt. Like I say, I know he's cringe. I do realize that. But yeah, I think China is going to be better based on the cultural values they have. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be based on Han nationalism. That's what they're going to be based around. They do have other communities, and they will give lip service to that to a point. To other cultures, of course. They have 130 different languages. But yeah, Imperialism is going to lead to escalation of world wars. It's mutually beneficial to put imperialism behind us. That's nice to say, but it's another thing to do, right? Not every country has all the resources they need for their people. Like I say, this is why, Japan got involved with the Second World War. There were many bounties, and once again, I'm not going to sit here and defend Japan, but once again, part of the reason why they got involved with the Second World War is because they didn't have any steel. All right, they didn't have steel on a massive level, which is why, and rubber as well, which is why they invaded all those little islands. Right, countries have enough military hardware to destroy each other. But they're going to become socialists by 2060, bro. Yeah, exactly. I don't live in that fantasy, like I said. This is why I don't live in the fantasy of that. DPRK does what it has to do. They do what they have to do, and they have their missiles. Good for them. That's base to have missiles and everything else. But I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, I can't live in that fucking fantasy that some of y'all do, where it's just like, oh, well, the U.S. just, it's just like, let it go. You think that the propagandists and everything else, you think that they can't, switch around? I'm Uyghurs, but it's cool. Han and Uyghurs can chill, and we'll get a kick-ass. I'll get a kick-ass. Yeah, nuke having is based. It is, yeah, especially for the DPRK. Gaddafi would still be around. I got the Gaddafi book by Caleb Maupin coming in the mail, so I'll go ahead and read some of that too. But you know what? I've talked a lot. I probably pissed off some of y'all, and that's fine. Like I say, I'm kind of stuck in my ways a little bit, so it's good. I'm glad that y'all are arguing with me though, because you know what? It's making me think, and it's good that we can have this conversation. I'm not blocking anybody. I'm not trying to do all that. Hopefully I won't come to that point. U.S. is the main oppressor of the world today. You give them way too much credit. Way too much credit. Once again, corporations, yes, but the whole of the United States, the State Department, does the State Department equal United States? Let me put it that way. I'll put it that way. Does the State Department or any sort of individual group, does that equal U.S.? I would call it lip service to give people free education. Yeah, exactly. It is. Once again, you give way too much credit to the United States. Way too much. People will use the United States as, yes, you would. If you hate America, you have small PP. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just like you give way too much credit. I have to say that because I live in the United States. So I'm going to defend it to a point because this is all I know. Burgers get what they fucking deserve. Yeah, fine. Okay. I mean, you can feel as you want to, but I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, people are so obsessed with the United States. Like, what are you, some creepy dude who broke up with a girl or something like that? What sort of creepy ass nigga are you? Or you want to waste your time talking about the United States? You give way too much credit. I'm going to keep on repeating that. You give way too much credit. It's like saying, oh, well, the Freemasons rule the world. You give way too much credit. It's the same thing with the Jews run the world. Way too much credit. Way too much credit. See, I used to be somewhat of a truther, and sometimes that that kicks in sometimes. But in general, I have a belief that in every country, when has it gotten involved with, let's say, Denmark? I mean, every country and every country's issues. So they've gotten, I'm not going to say Germany because that'd be pretty stupid. Of course they have, but every country. And you think that somebody else wouldn't do that? You think that China wouldn't do that? Let me be honest with you. Do you think that China wouldn't do that? You think that, oh, because the United States falls, that suddenly everything's going to, everyone's going to be holding hands, isn't that? That's bullshit. Has a vice grip on my country. Yeah. Financially, you don't think that once again, U.S. policy or U.S. corporations? Is there a difference between corporations and the government? Let me put it that way. You think that corporations and policy are the same thing? China is less bad. For now, you think that's going to change in the future? I don't get this. China will probably do that. I would oppose that fucking imperialism. Once again, You're a hypocrite. You're a fucking hypocrite. Where not good, but less stank ass. You motherfucker. I can't, I was going to try to be nice to y'all, but goddamn, I can't believe this. Oh, China would, I would oppose that. Fuck imperialism. Guess what? Then you're an idiot, because guess what? Imperialism is going to always exist to a point. All right. I'll tell you that right now. America also rules Israel. No. Israel will find a sugar daddy in China. Once again, you give Israel way too much credit. Israel had a group of dedicated Zionists that got barely any support in 1948. Why is it that you motherfuckers give so much credit and say, oh, well, Israel's just an American colony? Really? The United States that, can't even do all this sort of thing. So the Zionists that took over, people like Abba Kovner, had complete support from the United States early on. I don't believe that. You mean groups like, Irgun had complete control of the United States. He had, like a seer rapist because my ass I sore. China doesn't play that Israel trash. Let's see here. That's nonsense. Okay, China, Israel. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and see. Let me look here. Okay, Wikipedia, foreign policy. All right, Times of Israel. That's a little bit biased, but let's go ahead and see here. So this is this is June 3rd, 2020. Okay. As an American-Chinese power struggle ramps up, the Jewish state increasingly feels the fallout with the U.S. pressure to nix deals it deems detrimental to security interests. Israel's announcement last week that an Israeli consortium would build Sorek 2, the world's largest desalination plant, surprised many who had been watching the deal. The contract had been expected to go to a Hong Kong-based company. For years, Israel had been working to dramatically expand trade with China, one of the world's largest markets. The push is suddenly running up against strong opposition from the White House as the Trump administration pivots from the White House Sorek 2 deal. A Chinese company, SIPG, is building a major port in Haifa and will control it for 25 years. Oh, really? China recognized Palestine? Why do y'all think that China is somehow... I really don't get this. I'll be honest with you. I really don't get this. Because China will give support to Israel and help build desalination plants, but will also try to have a deal with Iran. Okay? They're playing both sides. Why does no one see this? Your taxes go to Israel, not China. Learn, cope. Once again, so that story meant nothing? That meant nothing at all. Your taxes go to Israel? So that story means nothing, does it? Israel will find another sugar daddy. That's the end of the story, okay? They will find another sugar daddy. That's the reality, okay? I'm not going to sit here and be a pro-Zionist, but it's like they will find another sugar daddy so that they will keep that out. I mean, I really don't get this, where y'all are like, oh, well, China's less, desalination is a scam, so they're clowning them. Really? Okay. So let's look at another one here. So we're all just going to cope and say that China is less. Okay. I mean, if y'all want to say that, yeah, Israel. Okay. So let's see here. J-Post. After the China-Iran deal, why is Israel still working with Beijing? Okay. This is July 16, 2020. Okay. This isn't about Israel doing a favor to the U.S., which is in a trade war with China. It's about protecting Israeli national security. In 6 weeks, at the end of August, a number of international construction groups will submit their offers for an established NIS $15 billion tender to construct the Tel Aviv light rail's green and purple lines. This is one of the largest infrastructure projects in Israeli history. In addition, 3 of the Chinese companies are owned by the state. Okay. Why is this important? Because last week the New York Times revealed that China and Iran have quietly drafted an economic and security partnership that will see billions of Chinese dollars invested in Iranian infrastructure projects. Like I say, that project is still up in the air, but still, the investments are reportedly going to be spread out over 25 years and will reach a whopping $400 billion. So you think that they're not playing the same game? I don't really get that. Can you explain that to me? But it's all just nonsense, right? My taxes go to Israel and not to China. Okay. I mean, if you want to say that, go ahead. But I really don't get this whole type of thing. Hate the United States and hate burgers, and you can go ahead and, hate us all you want to. Go ahead. But the thing is, I really don't get this whole type of thing. Israel will disappear after Burgistan. No, it won't. Israel will not collapse. That is, talk about cope. That is absolute cope. You think that it's purely just the United States that gives money to Israel? Yeah, we give a lot of money. But the thing is, you think that Israel also doesn't get money from Europe? You think Israel also doesn't get money from, various other groups? That's bullshit. China has a policy of respecting other countries' national sovereignty with good reason. China have its, no, they still got other allies. And once again, this is just absolutely ridiculous. This is, talk about cope. And you think that, the thing is, once again, this is the whole type of thing where it's like, talk about being obsessed with the United States. I really don't get this. Yeah, I still support balkanization, but to think that, Israel's going to get, will disappear after Burgistan collapses, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. The Israelis will fight tooth and nail. And that's not me being a Zionist either. That's me being realistic. The thing is, I don't even talk about the issues. Yeah, Gulf countries started dealing with Israel. Exactly. United Arab Emirates, they made their deals with Israel as well. So the issue is, Yep, exactly. Yep, Brazil and the Saudis, exactly. Brazil is one of the largest countries to deal with steel. Let me see. Let me type this in with Brazil and steel. Brazil steel production is still huge. That's one of the largest places where steel comes from, is Brazil. And this is in, let me make sure here what I'm looking at, in 2,592,000 tons from 2,100 tons in June of 2020. That's a whole lot, isn't it? So once again, I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's like, are any of their allies big enough to keep them from getting eaten by hornet's nests that will... No, once again, here's the larger issue, though, is the Arabs in general hate each other. I'll just say it. They hate each other. Syria could not finish the job and retake the Golan Heights back in the 1970s. They couldn't do it. Now, of course, some people say that they came very, very close. But still, once again, but they won't be the superpower they are. Who says Israel is a superpower? Israel, once again, I really don't get this whole type of thing. The Arabs are broken up. You have the Sunni Shia split. Exactly, yeah. Israel does have nukes. Exactly. But you also, you have, a lot of the Palestinian refugees, are they in, they're in, I'm trying to think of it now. They're in Jordan, in literal fucking tents. All right. And of course, as you know, with Jordan, is you had, the Anglos fucked that up and they had their, King Hussein, right? So I don't really get this whole, once again, the Arabs are completely divided. There's no unity between them. There was a unity back in 1948, and people like, let me see here. I'll go ahead and take this off right now. But the thing is, there are people like, let me see. Let me put the page up here. People like Nasser, who came very close to retaking, and controlling that area, and yet it didn't work out, right? All these different wars, and you can say, well, they got help from America, this and that, but you think that, once again, there's a tenacity there. And the Arabs aren't unified, are they? Because, like I say, they hate Iran. They say, yeah, even the Saudis and, the Sunnis, they'll say, yeah, screw Iran. We don't care about Iran because they're Shia. They're not, they don't practice our true sort of Islam, and everything else, right? They don't get that. Right? So I really don't get this whole type of thing where it's just like, oh, well, I really don't get it. I really don't. Y'all just, if you want to hate America, go ahead. Like I said, I'll repeat that again. Go ahead and hate America, and you can hate the burgers all you want to and everything else. Go ahead. But the thing is, you think that another group won't rise up and be just as bad? Come on, man. I don't get it. Yeah. Republic, yeah. United Arab Republic splitted because Egyptians, Syrian, and Jordanians were divided on too many issues. Yep, that's true. They were absolutely too divided. Once again, they didn't agree with Baathism, this and that. And they didn't want to work with each other. It's that simple. So the idea, once again, that, oh, well, it's a hornet's nest, attacking Israel. They're too divided. They hate each other far more than they hate Israelis, in my view. That, they hate them far more. So, groups like Hezbollah will be the ones fighting. And I can agree with Hezbollah and I can respect them. But everybody else will be like, oh, well, we don't like them because they're muta. I think it's muta. It's the phrase M-U-T-A-H. And they'll say, oh, well, they're muta. They're not true Muslims. They do all this crazy shit. So we don't care about what those Shias do. So what are you talking about, man? I don't really get this whole type of thing. Y'all are on a different level, man. I'm just telling y'all. You can, like I say, once again, hate America. You can hate Americans. You can hate me and say I'm a fat loser. Go ahead. I am white. I am a fucking punk. Go ahead. I'm not going to, you could say cope and all this other stuff, but it's like, I don't really get this whole idea where y'all think somehow that, just because the United States falls, that everything's going to go back to normal. Nah, man. It's been like this. You think that, did things change because the Roman Empire was destroyed? To a point. But the thing is, it still existed, just because, this other group, it doesn't work that way. It's ebbs and flows. And some countries rise up, others fall. So yeah, the United States may fall, but guess what? Russia and China are going to come back. China has been an empire, one of the first big empires. It will be some European cunts. Yeah. But the thing is, once again, I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's just like, it's going to be ebbs and flows. All right. Arguably, China, people always say, oh, China was a backwards country. No, China had a lot of, but the Eastern Roman Empire prevailed. This group will be just as bad as Burkistan. Well, there you go. So once again, I don't really get this whole type of thing where you want to say cope, this and that. The game doesn't change. It's just the players, isn't it? You think that the game is going to change just because they speak a different language or something? They all understand that they want control. And you can cope about anti-imperialism all day. Go ahead. But shit doesn't work that way. It has never worked that way. I'm not going to live in a fantasy. You can. Go ahead. I'm not going to sit here and stop you or try to change your mind. But I'm not going to sit here and live in a fantasy. I'm not going to. I'm just going to play the game that's set before me wherever I live. Period. And I can try to, I can run my fucking mouth about various stuff. But guess what? I'll learn to, I'll play my role that I'm given. Period. And that's what you're going to do, right? All these 7 people that are in here, you're going to play your role in this, in your country or in your city or your region or county or whatever you want to call it, right? You're going to play that role. That's all there is to it. That's what I'm saying. You can feel, you can just say I'm cringe, or you can say I'm an idiot, or I should, learn and cope. Go ahead. I'm not going to sit here and do that. Yeah. Won't go back to normal. It'll allow certain places to get better. Define better. Define certain places and define better. I'll ask that question to you. Because I'll just add this point in. For example, with the Saudi-Yemeni war, South Africa, which is ruled by the ANC, not any Boers or Afrikaners or any white folks, they're selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. I don't really, once again, it goes to show the game doesn't change, it's just the players. So you can agree with all the LARPing going on, saying, oh, we're going to get rid of the cops. Oh, we're going to do this. Oh, guess what? Those fools are either too deluded or they're lying. It's that simple. That's the reality that we live in, right? You know, my heart turned cold. My heart turned cold, man. I don't go to the club. I don't deal with any of this other bullshit, you know? I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's just like, if you want to just hate Americans, go ahead and just hate Americans. Go ahead. I know I'm just repeating myself at this point, but go ahead. Hate America all day. You know, buy American flags and just burn them in your backyard. Go ahead. Or burn them on the street and just, go ahead. But it's like, yeah, China's selling weapons to Saudi Arabia too. Exactly. Like I say, I'll just say whatever China is, yeah. Anyone in South Africa that isn't the EFF or shit. Once again, why you say that now? The EFF? You mean the EFF? Hold on. Once again, the EFF. So let me tell you about this. Once again, I mean, you could. So you're not even going to support the Communist Party in South Africa. You're not even going to support them. You're supposed to be a communist. You're not going to support the Communist Party of South Africa. The EFF. You're going to support a guy. Let me see here. Julius Malema. Lawyer. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Okay. So let's talk about this then. Okay, this is ex-lawyer now. Holy shit. Okay, I should have kept track of this story. I'll go ahead and share the screen again. Okay, let me go ahead and see this right quick. Okay, this is okay, Times Live. Okay, ex-lawyer in debt standoff. Okay. Okay, lawyer. Yeah, this is Mokoena, basically his lawyer. This is the guy. I'll tell you his story. What happened to him? Julius Malema's lawyer, and I know you can just say this is cope or whatever, and based. But the thing is that what his lawyer did is that he was having a meeting with somebody, and they apparently had some sort of uprising or something like that, and they came into this conference room. Dude pulls out a gun. Shoots a guy's finger off and hauls ass. And what happens next? This dude is, he's let go. And you want to talk about the police in South Africa? Once again, holy shit, you want to talk about police in South Africa? Come on, man. I ain't mad at them for making money. EFF are communists. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? I don't know if anybody said hate Americans. I would say hate the government and political system. Go ahead and hate Americans. I don't care either way. Go ahead and hate us. I don't really care. But, because America is a reflection of the government, right? I mean, that's the whole idea, isn't it? Anyway, so Mokoena has denied to being indebted to Bosch or to Majora Trust. Okay, let me see here. Let me type this in here with... So an EFF, let me put it this way. I really don't get this because, okay, so the EFF, they also, the thing is, do you realize that Julius Malema is a millionaire? Let me type this in. Julius Malema worth. Julius Malema financial worth. Net worth. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Julius Malema net worth in 2020. Let me see here. Trade celebs revealed. Okay, net worthpedia. Okay, let's go ahead and see right quick. This probably isn't the best site, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Okay, so 38. Don't care. Estimated net worth $1 million to $5 million. Now I know. I know. What about Engels? Wasn't he rich and everything? I know. But the thing is, you think that he gives a shit about socialism? He just wants to get rid of the Boers and the Afrikaners that are 10% of the population. All right. Now, if you want to do that, go ahead, kick them out. But guess what? You think that the Bantus, which are the majority in South Africa, you think they care about the They don't care about none of them. Sometimes I LARP, and I do that to shit talk people, and we'll talk about the EFF or whatever the case may be. But yeah, implying that communists can't be rich. Why should they be rich though? Why should they be rich? I know. Once again, I know you're going to tell me about angles, right? So why is it? So why hasn't he given his money to those types of things? Let's talk about the EFF scandal. We'll do that. EFF, Africa. Okay, let's go ahead and do. Financial scandal. Okay, let's talk about this. So this is 2018. This is the bank fraud that they committed. Okay, Financial Times, take it with a grain of salt. VBS illicitly financed Radical Party's purchase of a Johannesburg property. They also got support from, let's see here, Gupta Brothers. Let me do this. Yeah, Gupta Brothers. Okay. Okay. Apparently not. Yeah. Proudly South African Guptas obtained interdict against EFF. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a look at this VBS scandal though. This is from 2018. So take it with a grain of salt. Have uncovered new links between the radical opposition Economic Freedom Fighters Party and a high-profile bank fraud, deepening a national scandal. A forensic report released last month into the collapse of VBS Bank detailed how management of brought into core leadership. The investigation also implicated relatives of EFF leader Julius Malema and his deputy in suspicious transfers of money from the lender. Now investigators commissioned by South Africa Central Bank are examining evidence that VBS illicitly financed the purchase by the EFF of an exclusive Johannesburg property. Links between VBS and EFF threaten a crisis for South Africa's second biggest opposition party, and his firebrand leader who built his reputation as a critic of corruption under President Jacob Zuma. Now, it has to be said once again, the EFF, and particularly Julius Malema, comes from the ANC. He was an ANC youth leader. So the thing is, when you say that you like the EFF, to a point, you have to say that you like the ANC. Yeah, socialism is not poverty, dang. Yeah, ML's arguing in chat. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is, it's bad for morale and preserves class distinctions that will draw the wrong kind of people into party work. Yep. So once again, Mr. Malema is eyeing the role of kingmaker in important elections next year. Mr. Zuma, Ramaphosa faces a battle to end ANC's majority in the face of voters' anger at the legacy of corruption. So once again, the ANC was supported by the Communist Party of South Africa. So why would you not say, and once again, the Communist Party of South Africa does not support the EFF. And then, of course, you have people like, you have the, socialism is not poverty, nor is it wealth. Socialism is about working class dictatorship over society. That's all nice to say. But it's a whole other thing in reality. Because once again, the Soviets had war communism, barracks communism early on. That wasn't socialism, was it? Because they had people that told them how to work, right? So that's, once again, I don't have a set in stone idea of what socialism is. And I don't think anyone should. I don't really get this. I don't get this whole type of thing. Once again, it's like, well, there's a strict definition and we better stick to it, damn it. That's very, very idiotic and just dogmatic. The bank rose to political prominence, in particular when it gave Mr. Zuma a mortgage after cultivating ANC politicians. VBS, formerly an obscure building society in the Limpopo region, used bribes and political connections at local municipalities to rapidly grow its deposit base. According to last month's forensic report, investigators are now seeking to recover its assets for the bank, a company owned by a brother of the EFF's deputy leader. Floyd Shivambu received 16 million rand, or $1 million, in payment associated with the bank, the report concluded. Investigators have also homed in on the EFF's purchase of the Johannesburg home of more than 5 million rand, 350,000. So once again, we see here that people are purchasing land, this and that. We see, this is the same type of thing with Jacob Zuma calling in the fire department to fill up his pool. Is that cool? Is that, socialism makes, I don't really get this whole type of thing where it's just like, I really don't get it. Yeah, socialism can exist with poverty or wealth, depends on the circumstances. Once again, I'm really trying to understand this here, where it's like, let's talk about, legal or decriminalizing marijuana. And then it's like, well, we've been doing that. And honkies have been profiting from that, right? So that's not really a good thing, is it? People are still in jail. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about, okay, let's bring this up to while I'm thinking about it. Let's do the Mexican cartels financial returns. I know I'm not going to get anything specific, I realize, but let's see here. Do Mexican cartels make $500 billion a year? Let's see here. Washington Post. Let's see here. At $500 billion. Okay, let's go ahead and see here. This Washington Post, take it with a grain of salt. They're probably going to block me. Let's see. Yeah. Screw you. All right. Never mind. Okay. What is the biggest cartel right now? Mexico freezes almost 2,000 accounts linked to a powerful cartel. Okay. This is June 2nd, 2020. Let's go ahead and see. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. Let's go ahead and use a little bit of facts here. Mexico freezes almost 2,000 accounts linked to a powerful cartel. Mexico's Financial Intelligence Unit, a part of the Finance Ministry tasked with combating and preventing money laundering, said Tuesday it had asked banks to freeze nearly 2,000 accounts allegedly linked to the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel. It is the latest sign of Mexico's commitment to step up its fight against organized crime after U.S. President Donald Trump backed off from his threat to designate Mexican cartels as terrorist groups. The United States Drug Enforcement Administration considers the cartel known under the Spanish acronym CJNG as one of the most prolific drug trafficking organizations in the world that is now flooding the U.S. market with methamphetamine. Okay, I just want to point that out. The operation is a result of joint work carried out by the institutions that make up the Security Cabinet over several months. It is said that it managed to have 1,770 bank accounts of individuals frozen, as well as 167 companies and 2 trusts linked to the CJNG. While it did not disclose the amount held in frozen accounts, it said it analyzed thousands of unusual transactions. It said Mexican officials have collaborated with the DEA, which made it possible to find a large number of members of said criminal group, as well as its largest financial operators and companies used in money laundering. Mexican authorities extradited Ruben Oseguera, son of a cartel's top boss, Nemesio Oseguera, to the United States in February. In a fresh blow, a month later, U.S. authorities arrested more than 250 people linked to the cartel. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and see here. I typed in financial instead of financial. I'll be fair here. Yeah, financial returns. There we go. Okay. How cartels launder their money. July 28th. Here we go. Let's see one other one. This is a PDF. So we'll see here. Federation of American Scientists. So there's bias, but we'll go ahead and look through this anyway. Congressional Research Service. Okay. Mexican drug trafficking, DTOs, DEA, Constant Flux, 2019 Mexico's National Public Security, 34,500 homicides in 2019. Okay. In June 2020, 2 high-level attacks on Mexican criminal justice authorities stunned Mexico, including an early morning assassination attempt targeting the capital's police chief. He survived the attack, but 3 others were killed in one of Mexico City's most affluent neighborhoods. Okay, well, I could read through every little bit here, but yeah, McAllen, Texas, Laredo, Brownsville, El Paso, Vida Juarez, Tijuana, Mexicali, Nogales. Yet Mexico's high homicide rate is not exceptional, especially in the region where many countries are plagued by high rates of violent crime, such as the Northern Triangle. Once again, I will say here once again is that, yes, the United States ruined countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, yes. And we provided, we had shock therapy or, shock doctrine was pronounced in these countries. Of course. I get it. once again, I can understand that to a point. Okay, but yeah. Man just wants me to build the wall. Yeah, poor socialism is when material conditions. Rich socialism is when productive force. Okay. Yeah. Google Mexican drug cartels legalization. All right, let's take a look. Let's go ahead and see. CNBC, Vicente Fox legalizing drug is a way to combat cartels. Congressional research. You know what? I have a. Let's see here. Who has benefited legalization? Go ahead and do that right quick. Okay. Let's go ahead, but I will go ahead and look at this first, though. Okay, marijuanamoment.net, QZ, Blue Kim Law. Okay, let's see what this is. Okay, let's go ahead and see here. How U.S. marijuana, and I said once again, methamphetamine is what they were talking about before. Marijuana. Okay, I just want to make sure here. Say habla español. They also speak Korean. Okay. How U.S. marijuana legalization affected Mexican drug cartels. U.S. Border Patrol has been seizing steadily smaller quantities of the drug from 2.5 million pounds in 2011 to 1.9 million pounds in 2014. Mexico's army has noted an even steeper decline, confiscating 664 tons of cannabis in 2014, a drop of 32%. Okay. The downward trend contrasts the increasing state legalization beginning in Colorado and Washington State. Legalizing the legal marijuana industry grew 74% in 2014 to $2.7 billion. In U.S., Americans spend about $100 billion on legal drugs every year. Only a portion of this $100 billion is spent on legal marijuana, as the U.S. federal law still prohibits cannabis. So it has to be put into perspective once again, right? Not completely, once again, I don't think that there's a magic bullet for anything. So, yeah, this is nice, but I want to see something else, though. Okay. I am trying to read through this. I'm not going to just try to blow it off. I will read through this a little bit. Okay. Nabbing a record 34,840 pounds of meth in 2014. Unfortunately, this is still a heart-rendingly high number of life losses. Last year, they reported 15,649 deaths. So once again, as what will happen now that, Guzman, also known as El Chapo, has escaped from prison. The U.S. has requested extradition of the cartel kingpin on June 25th, just weeks before his escape. Coincidence? You decide. There we go. Once again, this is from a lawyer, so it has to be put into perspective. He's probably got a lot of people that have gotten arrested for, an ounce of, sticky icky. So, but let's see who has benefited from legalization. Okay. 1A across. Okay. Who benefits when states legalize? Okay. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and take a look. I will look at another article as well. 1A across the states here. Okay, so Michigan became the 10th state to legalize recreational marijuana. In its new law promises that along with fostering new economic opportunities, it will also address past injustices against people of color. What will the law mean in practice, and who's likely to benefit most? As legal marijuana markets emerge in state, but as the legalization discourse shifts to criminal justice reform, there are limits to what that looks like on the ground. Disturbing questions persist about prisoners such as 67-year-old Michael Thompson, who remains incarcerated with disproportionately long sentences for using or selling pot in the past. Permissive 420 culture hasn't cut everyone the same slack. And perhaps, unsurprisingly, extreme injustices in drug sentencing continue across the country. Once again, legalization is not some magic bullet. It isn't. There is no magic bullet for these types of things. Let's go ahead and let me look at one other one here. Is marijuana... Okay, that's Forbes. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but still. Takes it with a grain of salt, right? Marijuana and cannabis. Marijuana, I think, is a word that was made up. Cannabis is more. Yeah, I think it is the same thing, though. You're right, Gitler. Okay. Well, like I said, I think I've said my piece. Let me put this out. I've been upset with the chat a little bit, and that's what happens. I get that. I've gotten a little bit heated. But ultimately, this is the struggle we go through, right? This is the struggle we go through. And you can disagree with me and say, bro, you're full of shit. You're just a dumb burger. You go back to Burger Stand. And I'll say, yeah, you're right. My mother almost did buy me a burger, and I said, no, I don't want a burger. So there you go. So you can feel as you want to. Gotta go, guys. Peace and God bless. Good night. Good night, Will DeMarco. That's okay. So like I say, you're free to disagree with me. I think we have fairly open dialogue, don't we? The first party fight. Yeah, exactly. Like I say, do I have reactionary views? Yeah, I do. I know I do. And I feel like, regardless of how I feel, it's unfortunate that, Kyle Rittenhouse ended up going out there and shooting and ended up having to use his weapon. It's unfortunate. It's also unfortunate that, Michael, I can't remember his last name now. I've said it, once again, my boomer mind. Good night, everybody. But I will be ended. But let me just say this right here. But, it is unfortunate. It is. And maybe I'm just part of the whole culture war too, to a point. But I can't sit here and be like, well, it's nice to say, oh, well, Kyle Rittenhouse was based, but what this person did was wrong. And, it's like, yeah, okay. I'll admit I played that way to a point. But to say that this guy can just go on Vice News and decide to say his opinion, it talks about other issues, doesn't it? It talks about journalism as well, where this guy decided to sell his ideas. Defensive. Yeah. But I don't really get, like I say, these are the things that we go with, right? We all have our biases. And you clearly saw my biases that existed, all right? That's the way it goes. Browser lost connection. Screen share audio. Try your screen again. Restart your browser. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and end it there, I think. But anyway, I guess I'll just say good night to everybody. And we'll keep it there. Kyle had an interview. Show called Slightly Offensive, I believe. Oh, yeah, he was on. Okay, I know what that is. But anyway, you saw my bias. You saw, that I have reactionary beliefs, or my Americanism showed. My American flag showed a little bit. I'm sorry. This is the only country I know. You have your beliefs. You want to say, screw Americans, this and that, or screw burgers. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about it. Although I did spend about 2.5 hours doing that. But, I'm just going to say is that one country is not necessarily better than another. That's all I was really trying to say. And once again, as much as I'll say the game doesn't change, it's just the players. It doesn't matter what you say. He was smart to go on Vice News. The cops silenced him. No, it wasn't that smart to go on Vice News because Vice News took advantage of that. Yeah, he was not smart to go on Vice News because they took advantage of him. Period. I will say that. And now, of course, a lot of the Antifa folks out there who are saying that Vice News are nothing but feds who told him where he was. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. He was smart to go on Vice News. At least he got his side of the story to the public. Yeah, but it also made things much, much worse. But you can say, I mean, at least we have the truth, though. At least we have the truth. That's all that matters. We just have the truth. So I'll keep it there. I've said my piece. I'm not going to, I've already made my choice. So yeah. Buenas noches. Yep, definitely. Joygin. Bao Chong, as they say in Chinese or in Mandarin. Well, Joygin, that's Cantonese, but yeah. Bao Chong. Gaosa, I think is how you'd say it as well, in a nicer way in Mandarin. I'm just going to keep it there. I've said my piece. You can say I'm cringe, or you can just, dislike, whichever. That's fine. We had our debates and everything else. We'll keep it there. We'll go ahead and end it on a DPRK note. Good night.
fought single-handed against the desperate imperialists. Even in the face of food difficulty, the Korean people valued billets more than sweets. In the unprecedented hardships